Uh, Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to discuss the scope of logic. Scope of logic. So before going to start the scope of logic, one thing keep in mind that already we have discussed that what is logic and what is the etymological meaning of the word logic, then what are the subject matter, that is the nature of logic, already we have finished. And today, that is the topic is scope of logic. The scope of logic, scope means province or range. So now the scope or province of a science means, that means the subject matter with which it deals, the subject matter with which deals. So here by the scope of logic is also meant the range or province of its subject matter with which it concern itself. So there are some points here in logic includes, so total number of points is 10. So here there are today we are going to discuss only 2 points. So number 1, logic is called a science of thought. Science of thought. The first topic is logic is called a science of thought. So generally, if logic is called a science of thought, so generally logic deals with thought. Logic deals with thought. In one sense, we may regard that thought as the subject matter of logic. Already we have discussed in logic that thought is the subject matter of logic. So logic as a subject matter of logic, in order to distinguish logic from the natural sciences like physics, chemistry, botany, etc. But logic deals not with the whole of thought but with a part of it. So the word thought is ambiguous. In the wider sense, the word thought is synonymous with knowledge, and includes perception, memory, imagination, then general thought like reasoning. So therefore we can say that thought or reasoning is the subject matter of logic. So the whole subject matter of logic is not the subject matter of logic is not the whole of thought but only reasoning. So reasoning is the subject matter of logic. So it is, logic is called a science of thought. So here one thing keep in mind that the word thought is not ambiguous. That is, thought is ambiguous. In the wider sense, the word thought is synonymous with knowledge and includes perception, memory, imagination, general thought like reasoning. The subject matter of logic is not the whole of thought, but only the reasoning. So for this reason, logic is called a science of thought. This is the first scope of logic. Then number two, logic is primarily, or logic is deals with only mediate knowledge. Logic is deals with mediate knowledge. So already we have discussed that what is mediate knowledge. So mediate knowledge, now logic deals with mediate knowledge. So already we have studied that what is mediate knowledge. Now how it is logic deals with mediate knowledge. So logic is primarily concerned with the problem of proof. Logic is primarily concerned with the problem of proof. Immediate knowledge does not require any proof, but mediate knowledge requires proof or test for establishing its validity or establishing its truth. For this reason, logic deals with mediate knowledge. So here one thing keep in mind, that logic is primarily concerned with the problem of proof. So immediate knowledge does not require any proof, but mediate knowledge requires proof for the establishing of validity or for its truth. So hence logic deals with the mediate knowledge. According to Indian logic, that is, all forms of knowledge come within the scope of logic. According to Indian logic, all forms of knowledge that is mediate and immediate come within the scope of logic. So hence logic deals with mediate knowledge. This is the second point and second scope of logic. Then number third, the main subject matter of logic, is reasoning. So now again, third topics, that is the third scope of logic, the main subject matter of logic is reasoning. The main subject matter of reasoning, in the previous points we have discussed that the subject thought is the subject matter of logic, or again the third point, that is the main subject matter of logic is reasoning. So now how? And reasoning is a mental process where we proceed from something known to something unknown, or here logic is not concerned with the origin and development of reasoning. So here keep one example, that reasoning is a mental process where we proceed from something known to something unknown. So here take this example, that Ram is mortal, Sham is mortal, Jadu is mortal. This is the known, and this is based on the observation of facts, and we can conclude that all men are mortal. This procedure, this system, this way is called reasoning. So based on the observation of facts, we can conclude that all men are mortal. This process is called reasoning, and this method is also called reasoning. Here it is only the correct thinking or valid reasoning which comes within the scope of logic. This that means it is only correct thinking or valid reasoning which comes under the scope of logic. So the third point, that is the main subject matter of logic, is reasoning. That means first, what is reasoning? That is, the reasoning is a mental process where we proceed from something known to something unknown. This is the new, this is the unknown statement. So this based on these known statements, that is propositions. So here on the basis of the observation of facts, we can conclude that all men are mortal. So this is the unknown facts or unknown thought. So this process is called reasoning. So reasoning is a mental process where we proceed from something known to something unknown. So logic is not concerned with the origin or development of reasoning. So it is only correct thinking or valid reasoning which comes within the scope of logic. So the main subject matter is logic, matter of logic is reasoning. So here there are number 4 points. So number 4, logic is concerned primarily with the product of thinking. Primarily with the product of thinking. So this is the number 4 points. Reasoning or inference is not the thought. The word thought means both the processes and the products of thinking. Both the processes and the products of thought. Here the word thought means both the processes and the products of thinking. So logic is not concerned with the process of thinking. Logic is not concerned with the process of thinking. It is the business of psychology to deal with these processes of thinking. So logic is concerned primarily with the product of thinking. So here this is the number 4 point, that is the primarily logic is concerned primarily with the product of thinking. Here the word thought means both the processes and the products of thinking. So logic is not concerned with the process of thinking. So for this reason, logic is concerned primarily with the products of thinking. So these 4 points come under the scope of logic. So here this is the first 4 points we have discussed, and this undercome the scope of logic. So thank you everyone.